Hi everyone, welcome to Wise-ish, your power boost for the day. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, and I'm sure that you've been enjoying some of our additional new shows on America Meditating Radio on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, so much more. I've really loved that radio show. It has garnered some deep learning tools for me. Each guest that we have on air just reminds me of something more. They remind me of how connected we all are. Everyone comes from a different background, they have a different expertise, but whenever they come and they share their gifts, it's like it's all one. And we're at a particular pivotal moment historically where there's a conscious evolution taking place, where we are being forced to come together as one. And I really invite you to think about that. That whatever happens to me is happening to you. Even if you're in Timbuktu, someone right now that's having a happy moment is impacting my happy moment. Someone who's being abused is not making me happy. It's also impacting me of feeling a sorrow or a sadness. What if you started to recognize that whatever you were thinking, saying, or deciding to do impact all of humanity? Would you think that thought that you're thinking? Would you say those words that you're about to say? Where was I the other day? Must have been in downtown DC, and unfortunately there was a couple arguing in a car next to me, and they were not speaking very nicely to one another, and there were a lot of words that were flying that were pretty profane. And I remembered how even though they were having that experience in their car and the windows were down, I felt that energy. I heard it. And that rippled out to me and to the whole environment in the ethers. What happens to one happens to all. And imagine if we had that mentality to actually consider and accept that I am responsible for the condition of the world, not at a personal level, but at the level of my intentions, my thinking, the way I show up on the planet is making an impact. Think about the kids behind us, the generation that's following our footsteps. What example am I leaving for them? We're producing a new program called Kids Say the Wisest Things. And one of the presenters, Akshay, had said that one of the things he's noticed about this generation is that many leaders keep saying they want to leave a legacy. But when he looks back in history and he reads about Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King, they weren't concerned about leaving a legacy. They wanted justice. They wanted equality. They wanted nonviolence and they wanted peace. And as a result of that, that would have been their legacy. That's what they rippled out. Even though both were assassinated though, right? But they were still fighting for peace and for truth, equality and justice. Sometimes when we're standing up for all the things that are good and right, for some reason it irritates individuals who are governed to think in a different way. But I believe and I trust that at some point in their lives, they will have a realization. They will have a turnaround. They'll have their road to Damascus where they'll realize, I don't know if I want to be like this anymore. You see, everyone has a conscience, whether you listen to it or not. Everyone has a capacity to be silent and to be at peace with themselves. And whenever we actually reach that juncture, we actually gain a deep, deep vision of everything we have said and done. And then the soul itself will say, I don't know if I should have done that. It starts to have, they might use it in religious terms. They might say it's a repentance. I don't look at it as a repentance, but I look at it that, wow, I've realized I don't think I should have done that. I shouldn't have been like that. And so every single one of us, we have a conscience. Yes, at some point in time, we choose to turn it off. We don't want to listen to it. It's like after you get used to your 2-year-old or maybe a spouse that you consider to be nagging and you just start to ignore them and roll your eyes and go, can't listen to them anymore. That's exactly what we do to our conscience. That sometimes your conscience is always traveling with you. It says, don't say it like that. Don't look like that. Don't be like that. And we do have a choice to say, well, let me listen to the conscience. It's just that sometimes we ignore them. Go back again when you were teenagers and your parents would tell you things not to do or what to do. And whenever your parents would sit you down and have that talk, they'd be like, stop lecturing me, Dad. Stop lecturing me, Mom. That's like how the conscience, when it goes to sleep or you start to ignore it, that's kind of what it says. Like you start to tell the conscience, oh, stop being such a goody two-shoe. Stop saying that. I don't want to be this type of person. This is not who I am. That's something for my bigger sister. Well, that's for this person to be. I don't want to be like that. That's not how I'm wired. That's when that other part of you is trying to silence the conscience and close it up. But what if you actually listened to your conscience and realized that all it's trying to do is to bring all of us as a collective humanity in a state of oneness? For us to be able to accept that we are different and that we will always be different in the way we eat, in the way we dress, in maybe the way we look at things. But what if we could all be the same, where there was love and respect and acceptance and humility for one another, with one another? There's a great need for humility, especially in the United States of America. There's a great need for humility all over the world. When was the last time, folks, you met a really humble person, but also a humble leader? They are the ones with such character, such grace, such truthfulness. They inspire in you a deep sense of trust because you know whatever they decide to do will be principle-based, and it will be for the goodness of all because they're humble. A humble person seeks no reward from the outside. The humble person basically says, I am full from the inside, and I believe that a way or a life of principle and virtues and honesty and trust and love is the way. So as we're moving into this very sticky period in our history, and in a way very volatile and in some way extremely dark, I would like you to think about the fact that what if the light is pushing out the darkness? What if that is what we're witnessing? And it's asking us to come together as a collective, cohesive humanity, because all of us and each and every one of us, we have to move into a space of oneness. If we all came from the Supreme Being, the Source, then we all belong to each other. Whatever's the color of the skin, whatever's the language, whatever's the land that we live on, if you and I all come from the same Source, the same God, and we go back to that same God, whenever you're at the bed of someone who's leaving their body, always they want to go up to the Source, go back to Source. So if we've all come from Source and we all return to Source, why are we fighting down below? What's happening? Doesn't make any sense, right? So there is a collective evolving consciousness that's taking place. And as the darkness of consciousness gets less, which means I don't want to get angry anymore. I don't want to be afraid of things anymore. I don't want to be jealous, judgmental, critical. I don't want there to be ego. I don't want there to be ego in my personality. That's the darkness within the personality that is saying, ba, ba, Miss American, ba. It's like, I don't want you in me anymore. You don't belong in me anymore. You're a foreign agent. You don't belong. That's the real immigrant. The real immigrant is algae, anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego. And that needs to move out. Not people from different countries. I'm not making a statement. But we're all immigrants. We've all been moving around the planet, whether at a soul level or at a physical level. Haven't you been an immigrant and left one job and gone to another job and entered into a culture that you had to relearn or redevelop from? So if we are moving into a collective, conscious, evolving awareness, then that's going to make us all become one. You'll see. At some point in time, hate, greed, anger, and fear, they get tired. They get real tired. And they have nowhere to go but down below. And so let it be this particular day that we really think about the fact that we are evolving collectively and that we are becoming one, because it's the only way to go. And if we came from the Source, then we go back to the Source. So we all belong to each other. We just look different. Just look different. So let's see what your good wish and your blessing is for this glorious day. You are a hero actor, and you play the part of an elevated actor by constantly considering yourself to live in the unlimited. Well, that's a deep one. Love that. Thank you so much for joining us on Wise-ish today. Remember No one can take away your happiness. It's up to you to give them permission to do so. And it's time. It's time for us to love everyone the same. So there's no attachment, no like and dislike, no jealousy and competition. We just love everybody the same. Take care of yourself, be well, and thanks for tuning in.